Satan, the adversary. Satan is the most powerful and well-known demon in all of Scripture, serving as the chief enemy of both God and humanity. His name literally means adversary, or accuser in Hebrew, revealing his primary role as the one who opposes God's plans and accuses believers before the throne of heaven. Satan first appears in the book of Job, where God says to him, "Where have you come from?" Satan answers, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Job 1:7. In this account, Satan requests permission to test Job's faith, showing that even in his rebellion, he must still ask God's permission before acting. In Zechariah 3:1-2, we see Satan in his role as accuser. "Then he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right side to accuse him. The Lord said to Satan, 'The Lord rebuke you, Satan.'" This passage shows Satan's constant work of bringing accusations against God's people. The New Testament reveals Satan's direct opposition to Jesus Christ. In Matthew 4:1-11, Satan tempts Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days, offering him worldly power and glory in exchange for worship. Jesus defeats each temptation with Scripture, showing believers how to resist demonic attacks. Revelation 12:9 provides Satan's most complete description. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. This passage connects Satan to the serpent in the Garden of Eden and reveals his ultimate fate. Throughout Scripture, Satan is portrayed as a deceiver, murderer, and the father of lies. Jesus calls him a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. John 8:44. Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies. Beelzebub holds the title Prince of Demons and represents one of the most powerful demonic forces mentioned in the New Testament. The name comes from the Philistine god Baal-zebul, worshipped in the city of Ekron, but the Jews mockingly changed it to Beelzebub, meaning Lord of the Flies. The Pharisees first mention Beelzebub when they accuse Jesus of casting out demons by demonic power. In Matthew 12:24, they say, "It is only by Beelzebub, the prince of demons, that this fellow drives out demons." This accusation reveals their recognition of Beelzebub's high rank in the demonic hierarchy. Jesus responds to this accusation with a powerful logical argument in Matthew 12:25-26. "Every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand?" Mark 3:22 records the same accusation from the teachers of the law. "He is possessed by Beelzebub. By the prince of demons, he is driving out demons." The repetition of this charge across multiple Gospels shows how seriously the religious leaders took the threat that Jesus posed to their authority. In Luke 11:15, the crowd makes the same claim. "By Beelzebub, the prince of demons, he is driving out demons." Jesus' consistent response reveals an important truth about spiritual warfare. Demons operate under organized authority, with Beelzebub serving as a high-ranking commander under Satan's ultimate leadership. Abaddon the Destroyer. Abaddon, also known by his Greek name Apollyon, is one of the most terrifying demonic figures in Scripture, serving as the angel of the bottomless pit and ruler over the apocalyptic locusts of divine judgment. His dual name reveals his destructive nature. Abaddon means destruction in Hebrew, while Apollyon means destroyer in Greek. Revelation 9:11 provides the only direct biblical reference to this demon. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek is Apollyon, that is, destroyer. This passage places him in command of supernatural locusts that torment humanity during the end times. The context of Revelation 9 describes these locusts as unlike any natural creatures. They have faces like human faces, and hair like women's hair, and teeth like lions' teeth. Revelation 9, 7-8. They are commanded not to harm grass or plants, but only those people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. Revelation 9, 4. What makes Abaddon particularly significant is his title as Angel of the Abyss. The Abyss represents the prison where demons are confined, suggesting that Abaddon serves as a warden or ruler over imprisoned demonic forces. The locusts under Abaddon's command are given power like that of scorpions of the earth, Revelation 9:3, and their torment lasts for 5 months. The passage emphasizes that during those days people will seek death but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them, Revelation 9:6. Legion. Legion represents one of the most dramatic examples of demonic possession recorded in Scripture, demonstrating both the reality of multiple demons inhabiting a single person and the absolute authority of Jesus Christ over all demonic forces. The name Legion refers to a Roman military unit of approximately 6,000 soldiers, suggesting the enormous number of demons involved. Mark 5:9 records the encounter. Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." This response reveals that demons have individual identities, can communicate, and can work together in large groups. The parallel account in Luke 8:30 provides the same information. Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "Legion," he replied, because many demons had gone into him. The consistency between gospel accounts confirms the historical reality of this encounter. The man possessed by Legion lived among the tombs, was incredibly strong, and could not be bound even with chains. Mark 5:3-4. This shows the physical effects of severe demonic possession: supernatural strength, self-destructive behavior, and complete social isolation. When Jesus commanded the demons to leave, they begged him not to send them out of the area, Mark 5:10, and requested permission to enter a nearby herd of pigs. Jesus granted their request, and the entire herd rushed into the lake and drowned, Mark 5:13. The aftermath shows complete transformation. The man was found sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, Mark 5:15, demonstrating the complete healing that occurs when demonic influence is removed through Christ's power. Lilith. Lilith appears in Scripture only once, in Isaiah 34:14, though her mention has generated significant debate among scholars and translators. The Hebrew word Lilith appears in a passage describing God's judgment on Edom, where the land becomes desolate and inhabited by wild creatures and unclean spirits. Isaiah 34:14 states, "Desert creatures will meet with hyenas, and wild goats will bleat to each other. There the night creatures will also lie down and find for themselves places of rest." Different Bible translations handle the Hebrew word Lilith differently. Some translate it as night creatures, others as screech owl, and some retain Lilith as a proper name. The uncertainty in translation reflects the limited biblical information about this entity. In the original Hebrew, Lilith appears to be connected to the word Layla, meaning night, suggesting a creature or spirit associated with darkness and desolation. Jewish tradition and later folklore developed extensive stories about Lilith as a female demon, but these traditions go far beyond what Scripture actually says. The Bible provides no description of Lilith's appearance, activities, or specific demonic powers. What we can determine from the biblical context is that Lilith represents some form of unclean spirit associated with desolate places and divine judgment. The mention, alongside other creatures of desolation, suggests that demons are attracted to places where God's blessing has been removed. Unclean spirits and evil spirits. Unclean spirits and evil spirits represent the most common terms used throughout Scripture to describe demonic entities that possess, oppress, and torment human beings. These terms appear dozens of times in the New Testament, showing that demonic activity was a regular part of Jesus' ministry. Mark 1:23-26 provides a typical example. Just then, a man in their synagogue who was possessed by an impure spirit cried out, "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." "Be quiet," said Jesus sternly. "Come out of him." The impure spirit shook the man violently and came out of him with a shriek. This passage reveals several characteristics of unclean spirits. They recognize Jesus' divine identity, they fear destruction, they can speak through possessed individuals, and they must obey Christ's commands. Luke 8:2 mentions Mary Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had come out, showing that multiple demons can possess a single person, and that complete deliverance is possible through Christ's power. Acts 19:15-16 records an incident where evil spirits recognize spiritual authority. One day the evil spirit answered them, "Jesus I know and Paul I know about, but who are you?" Then the man who had the evil spirit jumped on them and overpowered them all. The terms unclean and evil emphasize the moral corruption that demons bring. They defile everything they touch, oppose God's holiness, and seek to corrupt human beings made in God's image. Dragon and Serpent. The dragon and serpent represent Satan and his demonic forces in their most ancient and symbolic forms, connecting the enemy's work from the Garden of Eden to the final judgment described in Revelation. Revelation 12:3-4 describes the dragon's appearance. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept 1/3 of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. This imagery represents Satan's original rebellion when he led 1/3 of the angels in revolt against God. Revelation 12:9 explicitly identifies this dragon. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. This verse connects the dragon of Revelation to the serpent in Genesis. Genesis 3 introduces the serpent who tempts Eve in the Garden of Eden. While Genesis doesn't explicitly identify this serpent as Satan, the connection becomes clear through later scripture. The serpent's cunning questions, "Did God really say?" establish the pattern of demonic deception. Revelation 20:2 provides the final identification. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. This passage shows Satan's ultimate defeat and confirms that the dragon, serpent, devil, and Satan all refer to the same entity. The serpent and dragon imagery emphasizes Satan's deceptive and destructive nature. Serpents strike suddenly and inject poison, while dragons represent overwhelming power and destruction. Together, these symbols show that Satan combines cunning deception with destructive force in his war against God's kingdom. These 7 demonic entities reveal the reality of spiritual warfare that runs throughout Scripture, from Satan's temptation in Eden to the final judgment described in Revelation. While demons are real and dangerous, the Bible consistently shows that they operate under God's ultimate authority and face certain defeat through Jesus Christ. Understanding these spiritual enemies helps believers recognize their tactics and stand firm in the victory that Christ has already won. If you found this exploration of biblical demonology helpful, comment, like, and subscribe for more deep dives into Scripture's most mysterious and important topics.